Kia ora, this is Arun Jacob, your friendly and frank licensed New Zealand immigration advisor. As always, making a video to explain the nuances of immigration processes of New Zealand. Today was a big day, the 19th of April 2017. There were some changes made by the government of New Zealand to the immigration policy. This was anticipated because just before this change happened in New Zealand, of course, there's been a lot of talk about reduction of visas in America after Donald Trump became the president, and of course, just a couple of days or yesterday, I would think that the Australian Prime Minister announced that they're actually slashing one entire category of visa, which was aimed at temporary workers. So yeah, it was on the cards, and there was a lot of chatter around the immigration topic. As in any country, immigration is a topic that is discussed pretty hotly in New Zealand as well. It is an emotional subject. There will be a section of society here in New Zealand which believes there is over migration. There's a section of people in New Zealand who believe that migrants had a lot of value and support to New Zealand and make it a better player on the global field. So there are all kinds of different thought processes always running around immigration in any country, and New Zealand is no different. If anything, I think we are better equipped to deal with this topic in New Zealand because there isn't a lot of unnecessary rhetoric, and there isn't a lot of unnecessary politicization around this topic. So I think overall New Zealand manages its immigration policies very, very well. So let's look at the changes that came about today. The first thing that the government announced is that there's going to be a change to the skilled migrant policy. The second thing they announced is that there's going to be something called the South Island contribution visa. And then there's a third element of news that was shared today, which was a review of temporary migrant workers who are coming into New Zealand. These are all deep subjects in themselves, so I'm not going to talk about each one of them individually. Today, I'm going to just touch upon the skilled migrant aspect of what is the change that has occurred. That's because a lot of the clients that my company deals with, which is AJV Services, happen to be international students, and most of them are coming with the thought and aspiration of hoping to work in New Zealand and go on to eventually procure their resident visa and become permanent residents of New Zealand. Absolutely nothing wrong in that aspiration, as I keep saying over and over in my videos, because it's not just the need of these international students, but also the need of New Zealand, because we are a growing economy, we are a growing country. A part of our population is aging. We need to replace that workforce with fresh blood from other parts of the world. So we are in the global competition for attracting young talent, and so just be aware that before I get deeper into the discussion today, that every immigration policy that the government of New Zealand comes out, while it has to also be a political decision in certain ways, because obviously every party that's in power at the moment has to balance it out and make it look like it is something that's going to benefit everybody across New Zealand. It is my personal opinion that irrespective of which party is in power, they will always balance the immigration policy in such a way that we as a country are able to attract the best talent from different parts of the world. So that is the thumb rule. Immigration policies are not designed to keep people out. Immigration policies are designed to bring people in. It is just a question of what kind of people you want to bring in and what kind of quality that the government is aspiring for. So a little bit of tweaking here and there to ensure that you're getting the right people into your country, I think is absolutely fair. And as a licensed immigration advisor who is licensed by the government of New Zealand, my thoughts are completely in alignment with the government and its policies. I do give a lot of credence to the wise people who run these boards and committees which sit and formulate these policies. I think New Zealand government is also very inclusive in terms of that they actually include people from industry and different organizations and bodies to formulate the policy. And it's not just one of those wake up in the morning and make an arbitrary decision kind of a situation. So everybody who's planning to consider New Zealand as a future destination, you guys are still perfectly on track to consider New Zealand as a destination, because not only are we one of the best countries on earth in terms of so many parameters, but we have a welcoming immigration policy. So number one, I do not want people to beat their chests and flail their arms and say, oh wow, there's a change in immigration policy, and New Zealand is tightening up, because a lot of that the problem with, I think, a lot of migrants, and I speak from a perspective of myself being a migrant and being involved with a lot of migrant community, is that they don't go beneath the surface, and there's just a lot of this immediate reactions and of saying, oh look, these guys are trying to keep us out, and so on and so forth. I think it's a very, very wrong way of looking at immigration policy changes that occur anywhere in the world, especially in a country like New Zealand, which has got the reputation of being very welcoming and friendly and stuff like that. So the changes are quite simple. I mean, and I'm talking only about the skilled migrant category here. The government has set a threshold which says that the median income of $48,859, which is approximately 49,000 New Zealand dollars, is the salary that one needs to get to be considered that that person is in a skilled employment. The other threshold which is being talked about is 1.5 times the New Zealand median income, which comes up to $73,299, or approximately $73,000 for jobs that are not currently considered skilled but are well paid. So I'll quickly dwell upon the second part of the statement, because it says jobs that are not currently considered skilled but are well paid. It's rare to think of a job like that, which, I mean, I can think of somebody like a fruit picker, but it is a very, very rare occurrence, which is an unskilled job, but somebody gets paid $73,000 a year. I think is a bit of a non-happening event. So I will kind of ignore that aspect of the policy change. What I will dwell upon is the fact that government has now made it a threshold of $49,000 as or $48,859 to be precise, as the figure where a person who is, especially an international student who completes his course and then gets job, needs to get that salary to be considered as a skilled employee. The interesting thing is that $49,000, or $48,859 to be precise, is the requirement for you to be able to get a resident visa. Now, if you're not going straight for a resident visa after you complete your course, and you find after you complete your course, of course, you get a 1-year work visa, which is the post-study open work visa, and if you are able to find an employment and your employer is willing to support you, then you get something called the post-study work visa, employer assisted. You are still able to get that 1 + 1 year or 1 + 2 years if you need registration for that particular employment. So you're still able to get that 1 + 1 2 years, or 1 + 2 3 years, or if you find an employment which is coming under the essential skills and you're able to apply for an essential skills work visa, you're still able to make 3 years work visa. So you're still able to stay on in New Zealand and still get a work visa, even if your threshold is beneath the $49,000. It is only when you're moving from your work visa to a resident visa is where the government is saying, hey look, we now need at least $49,000 as the minimum threshold. So if you're a student who's saying, hey look, I invested a lot of money into coming into New Zealand and I need to earn some money back, and I'm quite happy to go back to my home, and after I complete my 2 or 3 year stint in New Zealand, this is absolutely fine, because subject to meeting all the other requirements of an essential skills work visa or an employer assisted post-study work visa, you'll still be able to stay on in New Zealand and work and earn your money and gain you that valuable international experience. So it is not a gone case, and I think people should not get go totally berserk inside their heads and think that, oh, somehow the government of New Zealand is trying to clamp down on us. I'm not trying to be an advocate for the government of New Zealand. I'm just saying that you cannot fight the policies of any government anywhere, whether it's in New Zealand or anywhere, because the government is a behemoth, and it's that giant that one individual cannot take on. So it is better that you just just go along with the flow of whatever policies are made, and keep yourself in control rather than trying to beat your head against a wall called the government of any country, not just New Zealand. So, what you need to understand and realize is that there is no big change that has really occurred. So, like I said, I have put the figures down here for mechanical engineers and electrical engineers and IT programmers and network administrators and other a few other people. It was always $49,000 or more. So there's not a lot of change. There's a very interesting example I would like to give. About 3 weeks back, one of my clients, who's also an international student, found a job as a marketing specialist after having completed a course in marketing in New Zealand and found a job as a marketing specialist with a salary of $40,000 per annum. Now, that salary was able for me to let her know that, hey, look, you can go ahead and make a essential skills work visa application, which we did. She got a 3 years work essential skills work visa. And then I was calling and telling her, hey, look, maybe it's time that you can also go for your resident visa because as per the policy that exists even today, because the new changes are going to come only from August, at $40,000, she was absolutely in a position to make an attempt to apply for the resident visa as well. But I suspect what's going to happen now is that they're going to now, if she does apply for a resident visa now, they're going to say, hey, look, we need you to come to $49,000, which is not possible because she just got into a job and so straight away she will not be able to jump into a $49,000 kind of a salary. But the good thing is she's got 3 years on this work visa, on the essential skills work visa. I can read from the letter that she got from that company that gave her the offer. And it said, we were very, very highly impressed with the skills that you displayed in your interview. And so here's a person who finished a course in New Zealand, got a job at $40,000 as a marketing specialist. So that's a business course, it's not a technical course. So obviously it was a fantastic achievement because it's not easy for people from a business course to crack a genuine, good, solid job like that and get $40,000. She got it. She got an essential skills work visa. Her company is saying you're a brilliant person. We love you and we want you to work with us. And now she no longer can, I think, apply for a resident visa until she comes to $49,000. But she's got 3 years to get to that point. She could work in this company for 2 whole years, get some solid experience, and then keep applying for jobs in the last 1 year. I'm sure she's also got 2,000 bonus from this current company, so it's 40 plus 2, which is $42,000 that she already has. I'm sure some other company somewhere or the other is going to look at her and say, hey, look, you are good enough for us, especially now that you've got a degree from New Zealand and you've got 2 years of work experience in New Zealand. We are absolutely happy to provide you with opportunity in our company, and we're going to give you that 10 or 15 20% raise and bring you up to $49,000-$50,000. I think she's very, very well settled. Worst case scenario, she can work in New Zealand for 3 years. Even if she's going to stay on that 40,000 plus 2,000 bonus for the 3 years, that adds up to about $120,000. She would have spent about $20,000 on her course here in New Zealand and living expenses. Let's say we round it off to about about $30,000, and so the whole thing comes to about $60,000-$70,000 she has invested into New Zealand. So she's still going to save a fair bit of money after 3 years, which is a great 3 years of experience, and still be able to get back home and pick up her career from there. So I don't think there was a lot of change really. I'm sorry if this is a slightly long video, but I think people tend to get perturbed, and which is the reason I decided I'm gonna talk in my usual normal frank, straightforward manner and let you guys know that there isn't a lot to worry about. I keep coming back over and over again to two very, very critical points. One, you need to have the right skills and attitude and knowledge to make it good here in New Zealand. There are a lot of international students who also come lacking in one or two or all three of them, to be honest, and they hope to make a go for it here in New Zealand. I mean, you really need to be well placed to make a future for yourself in New Zealand, and which is where a company like AGV really comes into the picture in a positive manner for you people, because we are handpicking these our students. When they come to us, we are examining and talking, and we're actually behaving like visa officers and looking at each and every student of ours and seeing whether you have the potential to go on and become a resident of New Zealand. And if you do not have that caliber, we are being very straightforward. We are being upfront and letting our students know, saying, hey, look, buddy, yes, you have the scope, but these are the challenges for you. That is number one, is that you need to be very, very careful about the choices you make. The second and most important choice you need to make is the kind of company you're going to work for. And unashamedly, I plug my company because we are people who are committed to you guys. For instance, this is a big video and long video that I'm making for all of you to listen to. But what happens after you listen to this video? If you have further queries, what happens? If you are an AGV student, you have the right to pick up the phone and talk to me. I'll be more than happy. In fact, since morning, I've fielded almost 10 or 15 calls from my students who are saying, hey, Aaron, this is what happened. What do you think? And I've been giving them continuous advice, and I've been telling them what jobs to do, what to not just myself, but the rest of my team. We've been, managing this day to day and to letting everybody know that it's not the end of the world. We are here in New Zealand to hold your hand and guide you through this process. It's going to be challenging, but we guys are there for you. And that is what I have noticed from a lot of international students who come to New Zealand, not through us, but through other companies. Once you land here, there is nobody to give you guidance, and that is why you guys, flail your arms and beat your chest and say, oh wow, something has happened and I don't know how to deal with that. So choose the right companies. Choose a company like AJV, because we guys are not there to service you only in your country, but I think, as I keep saying over and over again, the real drama starts once you come to New Zealand. And we are here in New Zealand. I had this company as a licensed immigration advisor. I have a fantastic team here working in New Zealand around me, and we are people there here who will hold your hand and guide you through each and every stage. And immigration policies will continue to change. What is important for you is to first examine and ensure and tell yourself that yes, I have what it takes to be a success in a country like New Zealand, and also have the guts and the courage and the common sense to choose a good company like AJV. And trust us, because as I keep saying, I'll look you in the eye and tell you, I would rather close down this company than do anything bad to any individual young student who comes to New Zealand through us. So you need to learn to trust people who are genuinely committed towards you. Come to New Zealand. This is a great country. We need young migrants. This migration pipeline is not going to shut down, but we are going to get more and more strict about the kind of migrants that we want. So, which is where when you work with a company like AJV, we can tell you, look you in the eye and say, hey, look, buddy, you're good enough to come and acquire education in New Zealand, but I don't think you have a lot of scope to go ahead and get residency. Or on day one, we can tell you, look, man, you have, or a girl, that you have the absolute skill and the knowledge and the attitude that we need in New Zealand. We absolutely see a future resident of New Zealand in you. So, yes, sorry about the long speech, but it was a big day in the history of New Zealand immigration. And as I keep saying, this little caption I've given to myself, I'm the friendly and frank licensed New Zealand immigration advisor, and I did feel like talking about it openly and allay some of those fears. If you are an AGV student who is watching this, who is already in New Zealand, you can pick up the phone and talk to me tomorrow, day after, whenever. You guys know my timings. If you're not an AGV student, well, all I can say is all the very best, and I hope you'll be able to make a success out of yourself in New Zealand. I hope that was useful. Keep watching my videos, and please tell your friends to also subscribe to my YouTube channel, and also join our Facebook group where we have a lot of similar discussions. But I hope that makes sense, and I will continue to make some more videos. Thanks for watching. Kia ora.